Hey, what's up? This is my first video of 2014. Wow, that's really unbelievable. This is so busy. I've been so busy, and I think there's nothing funny that I cannot actually make a video. Also, take note, if you kind of notice the differences between this lighting and that lighting in between videos, I think I have like better quality lighting in a previous video. I don't think I have that in this video, and I'm gonna stop talking if I'm going to rant about something else. So today, you and me, we are going to talk about Openly Straight by Bill Konigsberg. Bill Konigsberg is the one who writes Out of the Pocket, a book that I haven't read. With that being said, Openly Straight is my first Bill Konigsberg book. Yes, I'm gonna talk about that today. Openly Straight is a story about Rafi, an openly gay kid who decides to try on a new skin, and to do that, to have a new skin, not having this homosexual facade, he decides to go to this all-boys boarding school and decides to go back into the closet and starts from zero. Let me read like a snippet from the blurb, from the inside flat jacket blurb. Oh yeah, he's gay. He's been out since 8th grade and he isn't teased, and he goes to schools and talks about tolerance and stuff, and while that's important, all he wants is to be a regular guy, not that gay guy. They have to be a part of who he is, but not the headline every single time. Despite what the blurb says, I don't think that blurb speaks for this book 100%, because from what I see in this book, instead of this book being openly straight, this book could have been how to get back into the closet. Simple as that. This book is about Rafi. He decides to go to this all-boys boarding school and tries on a new skin, and he plays football, and he does stuff that usually the jockish types do. To simplify everything, he's trying to go back into the closet. Overall, I have to say I'm disappointed and devastated. I've never made a video about any book particularly that I am not satisfied with. Usually these books will probably be books that I personally love, I personally adore, and then if I feel like I love it so much, I will make a video about it and talk about it. But I've never particularly created a video about books that I do not like. There's a lot of books that I really do not like, really have a distaste and dislike. I feel unpleasant about it after I read it, and I've never made any video. Openly Straight is not a bad story. It has one of the most important topics of all time, which is being yourself and being true to who you are and having self-individualism. It's very important, especially when you are tackling a young adult novel. However, we have a main character here that makes really stupid decisions. So our main character is Rafi, and he decides to not be gay, to be back in the closet. So by doing that, he completely betrays his true self and tries to trick himself into thinking that he loves not being him. I am that person who particularly is against self-betrayal. Your best self is your true self, is when you are 100% in your own skin and comfortable with it. That is your best self, and nobody could ever say otherwise. And Rafi, he was in a very fortunate place. His family is completely accepting. This all-boys school is not particularly homophobic. Of course, when you are in all-boys school, there's going to be some homophobic stuff, but in his school, there's not particularly heavily, like, there's going to be like this heavy gay bullying. No, everyone minds their own shit and everyone talks bad behind people's asses, but that's just it. That's just nature when boys and boys converge together. But Rafi, he insists on being someone that he's not, and it's just very disappointing and devastating to read. Is it wise for you to be someone else? Is it wise for you to put up this facade of someone that you are not? He insists that he likes it. He likes being in this skin. He likes being this jock-ish type, and he doesn't listen to people. His teachers, his parents, his friend even has tried to talk to him into thinking about this. And of course, these things are going to have consequences, bad consequences. It's get very predictable. Some of his friends are going to find out that he's been lying from the start, and when it really happened in the book, I was so mad because I knew that would happen. Our main character Rafi was supposed to be proactive. He was supposed to see that coming too, you know, but he did. He was so stubborn and he wants to do what he wants to do. I know that some people are like this, who don't like being you, but at the end of the day, things are not going to be perfect, and you yourself, because since you are human, you are not going to be perfect, and you have to face that. One of the punchline in this book, I would call, is when Rafi says that he's tired of being that gay kid, as if there's this camera that is pointing out on him. When he wins soccer, the headline would be, "The gay kid strikes a goal. He doesn't want the gay title to impersonate him because he feels like he is more than that. But you know what? Everyone is more than that. Everyone in this world gets labels. We have different characteristics that define us one way or another. Like, you might be gay and you might be a Harry Potter fan at the same time, and once you're in the Harry Potter fandom, this similarity that connects all of you is the Harry Potter enthusiasm that you have. Despite with your color, your sexuality, you are a Harry Potter fan in that umbrella. Under another umbrella, you are gay and other people might be gay, but apart from that sexuality that defines you, you might be a fan of comic books, you might be a fan of fashion, and you might be a fan of sport. Everything, every part of human being is different. Among this difference, there are other people like us too, and once you see the similarities, things are going to be okay. Raffi didn't see that. This book is written in first person past tense. Once you write in first person and you cannot root with the voice, with the narrator of the story, you will not like this book. I spent time hating this book for about 180 pages, and that's bad. That's really, really bad. I don't like what Raffi is doing. I don't like the fact that he's thinking he likes it, because at the end of the day, this is past tense and our narrator knew what would happen. This story gets foreshadowed and I knew what would happen, and it sucks. Okay, it sucks. Let's talk about some things that I really do like in Openly Straight. One of the things that I really like in this book is that Mr. Scarborough, one of the English teachers in this all-boys school, he's an amazing person. He's the best teacher figure in any young adult book I've ever encountered. Basically, he assigned all of his students to write like something personal on a journal and send it to him, and he will mark it and he will keep it a secret, and he will give a feedback. We get a glimpse of Raffi writing his journal in a part of his history, fast writing, and then we get to see the notes that this teacher give, and all of his advices is what I was thinking when I read about Raffi. Raffi, so much interesting stuff in here, yet as well written as this is. What do you mean when you write nothing is ever enough with my parents? Would you really have preferred them to not mark the occasion of your coming out? I'm just asking for you to think about it. Good job. All of his advices, it was perfect. It was something that I need sometimes. And another thing I like is Albie and Toby, Raffi's roommates. They're weirdos, misfits kind of kids, and they're just so fantastic. I love reading every part of them. Also, I'm very disappointed of one of the characters who's supposed to act as a love interest in this book, which is Ben. Ben is a great guy, and I really liked him. I was really attached to him in the beginning of the book. He was this kind of guy that's very philosophical. The way he sees the surrounding around him was very different, and he thinks like a grown-up sometimes. He has a really great perspective on life, and it was very different from the other boys in this premise. But what was really disappointing is at the end, his decisions of not actually trying to understand Raffi's situation, why he lies, the reason why he's always not being himself and all things like that, the reason that he shies away and decides to not understand the struggle that Raffi feels was very, very disappointing. I almost feel like he's one of the best and well-written character out of all time, but at the end he fails, and it was very disappointing. Towards the end, I feel nothing about this book particularly. I am very satisfied with how it closes up. Like, there is going to be like a potential sequel. Bill Konigsberg, please write a sequel. I think a sequel, a next book, a continuation of how this boy's going to work out in this boarding school would probably improvise how I feel for the first one, because honestly the first one didn't really do much for me. My overall ratings for Openly Straight is 2.5 out of 5 stars on GOODREADS. I will round it out to 3. All I can say towards all young adult authors who want to venture out and try this particular genre is that I just want to say that matters of sexuality and coming out and being yourself and all of these stories, it is an important genre, and if you write it try in vain, don't write it at all. This story tackles with one of the most prominent and one of the most important topics in teenage problems. Although the author had tried his best to actually say what he wants to say and try to dictate what he thinks, it's not enough, and it's not enough for this book to actually be a memorable kind of story, and that is really sad. That's it for Openly Straight by Bill Konigsberg. I buy Openly Straight at Book Depository, and guess what they sent? They sent me this bookmark, and it is a chemistry periodic table with all of this. Haha, you know I do like chemistry. But this is very helpful. I think like aside from the bookmark, I could actually see the periodic tables and the periods and the groups. So the first book I read for 2014, Openly Straight. Thank you for watching.